When a man tried to intimidate a black woman at the gym, he had no idea she was a Navy SEAL. And then it happened. A moment that no one in the gym would forget. A confrontation so unexpected and powerful that it left the entire room speechless. The Midtown Fitness Center in Phoenix was buzzing with its usual after-work chaos, weights clanging, sneakers squeaking against the floor, and the faint rhythm of upbeat music in the background. Among the crowd was Lisa, a 32-year-old woman whose focused demeanor made her stand out. Lisa's routine was precise and disciplined: deadlifts, burpees, and pull-ups. She kept to herself, her earbuds signaling she wasn't there for small talk. What happened next revealed a side of Lisa no one could have imagined. Stay tuned to witness how her extraordinary strength, both physical and mental, transformed the entire room and delivered a powerful lesson in respect. Lisa was grateful for the lesson the dining room taught her, but she taught it herself. She put on a strong physique. Lisa wasn't your typical gym-goer. At 32, she carried herself with a quiet confidence that spoke of years of discipline and grit. What most people didn't know was that Lisa was a former Navy SEAL. Her decade of service had molded her into someone who thrived under pressure, someone who stayed calm when others might falter. But Lisa never flaunted her background. She preferred to blend in, focusing on her workouts with precision and purpose. On this particular evening, Lisa was in her usual spot at Midtown Fitness, dressed in simple black leggings and a tank top. Her movements were deliberate, her focus unshakable. She adjusted the squat rack, preparing for her next set, when a man approached her. He was in his mid-38s, broad-shouldered, and clearly no stranger to the gym. But there was something about him, a smugness in his smirk, a swagger in his walk, that immediately set Lisa on alert. His presence felt intrusive, like an unwanted shadow. "You're using that wrong," he said, his tone patronizing. Lisa paused, turning her head slightly, one earbud still in place. "Excuse me?" she replied, her voice calm but firm. The man gestured to the weights. "You're going to hurt yourself if you keep doing it like that. Let me show you how it's done." Lisa gave him a polite smile, though her body language was clear she wasn't interested. "Thanks, but I've got it," she said, replacing her earbud and turning back to her workout. But the man didn't take the hint. Instead of walking away, he lingered, arms crossed, watching her with a growing scowl. As Lisa moved through her exercises, he seemed to follow her, muttering critiques under his breath. The tension began to ripple through the gym like an undercurrent. A few people glanced their way, but quickly looked away, unwilling to get involved. Lisa, however, didn't flinch. Years of training had taught her to stay composed, to assess before reacting. But the man's persistence escalated. His comments grew louder, more pointed. "Women like you think you know everything, don't you?" he said, his voice carrying across the gym. Lisa froze for a moment, slowly turning to face him. Her eyes locked onto his, calm yet commanding. "What exactly is that supposed to mean?" she asked, her voice steady. The room seemed to pause, the usual gym noise fading into the background. Everyone could sense it. A line had been crossed, and the situation was on the verge of boiling over. Lisa could feel the weight of his anger, but she remained in control, silently calculating her next move. The storm was coming, and Lisa was ready. The man's words hung in the air, sour and heavy, his voice cutting through the usual background noise of clanging weights and faint music. "Women like you think you know everything, huh?" he sneered, his smirk returning as if he'd said something clever. Lisa paused mid-motion, placing her barbell down with deliberate care. She turned to him, her expression calm but her eyes unwavering, sharp as steel. "What exactly is that supposed to mean?" she asked, her voice level. He held up his hands, trembling. The room seemed quieter now, though no one had stopped entirely. A few gym-goers glanced over, sensing the growing tension but unsure whether to intervene. The man shrugged, his smirk turning into a scowl. "I'm just saying, maybe you should stick to what you're good at," he said, loud enough for everyone nearby to hear. Lisa didn't rise to his bait. Instead, she gave him a measured look before calmly returning to her workout. But the air was charged now, an invisible line drawn. Lisa knew from experience that the next move would be crucial, but she remained focused, her breathing steady. The man, however, wasn't done. He muttered something under his breath and followed her to the bench press. "You don't have to act tough," he said, his tone mocking. "If you're struggling, just say so. I can help." Lisa turned to face him fully this time, standing tall. Her voice was cool, deliberate. "Struggling? The only thing I'm struggling with is your inability to leave me alone." Gasps rippled through the gym as her words landed. The man's face darkened, his fists clenching at his sides. "You've got a smart mouth, don't you?" he growled, stepping closer, invading her personal space. Lisa didn't flinch. She straightened her posture, her presence radiating control. "You need to calm down," she said firmly. It wasn't a suggestion. But her composure only seemed to enrage him further. "What are you going to do about it?" he spat, his voice echoing off the walls. And then, without warning, he reached out, grabbing her arm. For a moment, it felt like the world had stopped. Every eye in the gym turned to them. Gasps and whispers filled the air, but Lisa remained eerily still, her body calculating, her training kicking in. Behind her, in the shadows, Lizzie Jane heard Mitch grunting in the background. She turned in the direction of the words. "Animals save the planet and restore human freedom." Then, with a speed and precision that left no room for reaction, Lisa acted. Her free hand shot up, gripping his wrist in an ironclad hold. In one seamless motion, she twisted his arm, forcing him to release her. His face contorted with shock and pain as Lisa stepped back, positioning herself out of reach, but still in control. The gym fell silent, the weight of what had just happened sinking in. Lisa's voice broke the silence, calm but razor-sharp. "Let me make one thing clear," she said, her tone steady and unwavering. "You don't put your hands on me. Ever." The man stumbled back, clutching his wrist, his bravado crumbling. But instead of retreating, his anger boiled over. Letting out a frustrated roar, he lunged at her, his movements clumsy and fueled by desperation. Lisa didn't hesitate. She sidestepped his attack with ease, using his own momentum against him. With a swift, fluid motion, she swept his legs out from under him, sending him crashing to the mat with a loud thud. The room erupted into chaos. Some people shouted in surprise, others scrambled to get out of the way, and a few pulled out their phones, recording the scene. The man groaned, dazed and humiliated, as Lisa stood over him, her stance solid and commanding. She leaned in slightly, her voice low enough for only him to hear. "You really don't know when to quit, do you?" He stared up at her, his expression a mix of anger, confusion, and finally, fear. For a brief moment, it seemed like he might try again. But the look in Lisa's eyes stopped him cold. This wasn't just confidence. It was training, discipline, and an unshakable resolve. The gym staff finally stepped in. A young woman, her hands trembling, approached cautiously. "Sir," she said, her voice shaky, "you need to leave. Now." The man hesitated, looking around at the crowd of gym-goers, their stares heavy with judgment and disdain. His shoulders slumped as the reality of his defeat set in. Muttering under his breath, he grabbed his bag and stormed out, shoving the door open so hard it rattled. As the door slammed shut, a wave of applause rippled through the room. Lisa raised a hand, signaling for silence. "It's over," she said simply, her voice carrying a calm authority that silenced the crowd. Slowly, the gym returned to normal, though the tension in the air remained. People whispered among themselves, stealing glances at Lisa. She resumed her workout, her movements as precise and composed as ever, but everyone in the gym knew they had witnessed something extraordinary. Lisa's quiet strength had spoken louder than words ever could. She hadn't just stood her ground. She'd reminded everyone that respect is not optional, and underestimating someone could have consequences far greater than expected. The gym was still buzzing with energy, but now it was a different kind, one charged with awe and curiosity. Conversations rippled through the crowd, and while the clanking of weights resumed, it was quieter, more subdued. The confrontation had left an indelible mark, and Lisa, the calm center of it all, was now the focus of everyone's attention. Tara, the young woman working at the front desk, hesitated by the water fountain, watching Lisa as she packed up her things. Her name tag was slightly askew, and she fidgeted nervously, clearly torn between staying at her post and approaching the woman who had just commanded the entire gym's respect. Finally, summoning her courage, Tara walked over. "Excuse me," she said, her voice tentative. Lisa turned, her calm gaze meeting Tara's. "Yes?" Tara shifted her weight, her hands wringing the hem of her uniform shirt. I wanted to say, that was incredible. I've never seen anyone handle something like that so smoothly." "And?" Peter asked, keeping a nervous eye on Tara's features. She turned back to look at him. Lisa gave a small smile, her expression warm but measured. "Thank you. I just did what needed to be done," she sighed. Tara tilted her head, her curiosity growing. "But how? I mean, I could never stay that calm. He was so aggressive, and you didn't even flinch." Lisa considered her words for a moment before replying. "It's not about not being scared. It's about knowing you can handle yourself. When you're prepared, when you trust in your abilities, fear doesn't control you." Tara's eyes widened. "So you're trained, right? Like military or something?" Lisa nodded. "I served as a Navy SEAL. But it's not just the training, it's the mindset. Strength isn't about being the loudest or the strongest. It's about composure and courage, even when things escalate." As Tara absorbed Lisa's words, a middle-aged woman who had been watching from nearby stepped forward. Her face was a mixture of gratitude and admiration. "I just wanted to thank you," she said softly. "That was inspiring. I've had moments where I felt intimidated or small, and I wish I had the strength to do what you did." Lisa turned her attention to the woman, her gaze steady but kind. "It's not easy, I know," she said, "but standing your ground isn't just about you. It's about setting an example for others, showing them what's possible." The woman nodded, her expression thoughtful. "You've made me realize I've been letting people walk over me for too long. I need to start standing up for myself." "You can," Lisa replied. "It starts with small steps. Confidence grows the more you practice it." 2. Out of the Easy Way Out by Martha Stewart. Written by John Ten. Meanwhile, the rest of the gym-goers whispered among themselves, their glances shifting between Lisa and the door the man had stormed through. Many were replaying the scene in their minds, grappling with their own reactions, or lack thereof. A young man on a treadmill leaned toward his friend. "I can't believe I just stood there. Should I have done something?" His friend shook his head. "I don't know, man. I was thinking the same thing. She handled it, though. Better than I ever could have." Others quietly debated the man's actions, their discussions tinged with both judgment and self-reflection. Why had he felt the need to provoke her? Why hadn't anyone stepped in sooner? His eyes fixed on the window, watching passers-by look for him. Lisa, aware of the murmurs but uninterested in the spotlight, continued gathering her things. She'd been in situations far more dangerous than this, but the lessons carried over. Every action, every response was a choice, and she had chosen to lead by example. As she slung her gym bag over her shoulder, Tara called out to her again. "Lisa, wait!" Lisa turned, her expression patient. Tara hesitated, then blurted, "You've inspired me. I don't know how yet, but I'm going to try to be braver. I think I can bring back that fire at Ma's." Lisa smiled, a genuine warmth in her eyes. "You already are. You spoke up just now, that's the first step." The gym continued its slow return to normal, but the event left an impression. People weren't just impressed, they were introspective. Lisa's quiet strength had forced them to question their own assumptions, biases, and reactions. Lisa herself walked out into the cool evening air, her mind already shifting away from the incident. For her, it wasn't about heroics. It was about composure, discipline, and respect, qualities she believed everyone could cultivate. Back inside, Tara sat behind the front desk, scrolling through her phone and reflecting on Lisa's words. Strength wasn't just about muscles or training. It was about presence, courage, and the willingness to act when it mattered most. The incident at Midtown Fitness didn't just stay within the gym walls. It quickly became a viral sensation. Unbeknownst to Lisa, someone had recorded the confrontation and posted it online. Within hours, the video had amassed thousands of views, and by the next morning, it was being shared across social media platforms with captions like, "This is what real strength looks like," and "When a bully meets his match." Still more than 2 years later, Lisa had a similar experience when employees complained of bullying at work. The video captured everything: the man's arrogance, Lisa's calm composure, and the swift, decisive moment when she turned the situation on its head. Comments flooded in from people across the world, praising her for her restraint and courage. "She handled that like a pro," one comment read. "This is why you never underestimate someone," another said. Some, however, reflected on deeper issues. "Why didn't anyone step in sooner? We all need to do better," wrote one viewer. The video sparked conversations about respect, gender dynamics, and the importance of self-defense. It became a symbol of quiet strength, inspiring countless individuals to reassess their own actions and attitudes. For Lisa, though, life moved on as usual. She wasn't looking for fame or recognition. To her, standing firm wasn't about proving a point or gaining attention. It was about self-respect. Sitting at home a few days later, her dog curled up at her feet, Lisa sipped her tea and watched the buzz online with a quiet resolve. She smiled faintly at some of the supportive messages, but didn't linger on them. "I'm not a hero," she thought to herself. "I just did what anyone should do." Back at the gym, the ripple effects of the confrontation continued. Tara, the young woman at the front desk, couldn't stop replaying the incident in her mind. Lisa's words echoed in her thoughts. "Bravery isn't about not being scared. It's about standing firm when it matters." The day after the video went viral, Tara nervously approached Lisa at the gym. She handed her a small, handwritten note. "I just wanted to thank you," Tara said, her voice quiet but steady. Lisa opened the note later that evening. Inside, Tara had written, "You reminded me that strength isn't just physical. It's about knowing your worth and not letting anyone take that from you. Thank you for showing me what it means to stand tall." End quote. For Tara, the encounter was transformative. She began to carry herself differently, no longer shrinking in moments of discomfort. Inspired by Lisa, she decided to enroll in a self-defense class, determined to build her confidence and protect her space. The antagonist, however, was nowhere to be seen. The man who had provoked Lisa didn't return to the gym. Whether it was out of shame, fear, or sheer embarrassment, no one could say. But his absence spoke volumes. Gym members reflected on his behavior and what it represented: a toxic mix of arrogance and insecurity. His actions became a cautionary tale of how easily assumptions and ignorance could lead to humiliation. For many, it was a reminder to treat others with respect and to never underestimate someone based on appearances. The staff at Midtown Fitness also learned a valuable lesson. They revised their training protocols to better handle situations like the one with Lisa. Tara led the charge, encouraging her coworkers to be more proactive in recognizing and addressing conflicts. As for Lisa, she returned to her routine, as unassuming as ever. People greeted her with newfound respect, some offering smiles and nods, others thanking her directly. But Lisa didn't dwell on the incident. She knew the true impact wasn't in the applause or the viral fame, it was in the quiet changes happening around her. The gym had become a little more thoughtful, a little more introspective. People carried themselves differently, aware that they were part of a community where respect and courage mattered. In the end, the incident wasn't just about Lisa or the man who underestimated her. It was about everyone who witnessed it, either in the gym or online, and the lessons they carried forward. That strength isn't about dominance but composure, and that respect is a choice we must make every day. Lisa's actions had left a mark, a reminder that true power lies not in physical might, but in the quiet confidence to stand tall and demand the respect you deserve. The incident at Midtown Fitness wasn't just a confrontation, it was a powerful reminder of the values we should carry with us every day: respect, resilience, and the courage to stand against ignorance. Lisa's quiet strength and calm composure showed that true power doesn't come from arrogance or brute force, but from discipline, confidence, and the ability to handle challenges with grace. The last thing Lisa cared about was acceptance. She had seen her share. Her actions resonated far beyond the gym walls, inspiring not just those who were there that day, but also countless others online. Lisa didn't just demand respect, she showed the world what it looks like to earn it. This story is a call to action for all of us. The world needs more people like Lisa, individuals who quietly but firmly stand their ground and remind us of the importance of treating each other with dignity. It's a lesson that we can all take with us. Respect isn't optional, and strength isn't always loud. It's the quiet resolve to do what's right. If Lisa's story inspired you, share this video with someone who might need a reminder of the power of resilience and respect. Leave a comment below about what this story means to you, or a moment when you've seen quiet strength in action. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Real Life Stories. We're here to share powerful, inspiring tales of courage and humanity that challenge, uplift, and leave you thinking long after the credits roll. Thank you for watching. And remember, everyday acts of strength and respect can change the world, one moment at a time.